There's a reaction people don't expect. It happens quietly at first, then all at once. It's what happens when people realize they no longer have access to you. Not your body, not your time, your inner world. And when that access disappears, some people don't just feel confused, they panic. If you've ever pulled back emotionally, set quiet boundaries, or stopped explaining yourself, you've probably seen it. People who were once calm suddenly become intense. People who never asked questions start interrogating you. People who felt entitled to your availability begin acting desperate. You might even hear, "You've changed. What's wrong with you? Why are you being distant?" It feels dramatic, but psychology says it's predictable. Here's the part no one warns you about. Many relationships are built on access, not connection. Access to your thoughts, your emotions, your reassurance, your responsiveness. As long as that access is available, everything feels normal. The moment it's gone, the illusion breaks. Social psychology shows that humans grow attached not only to people, but to patterns of availability. If you were always there to explain, respond, validate, soften tension, people didn't just value you, they relied on the role you played. So when you stop providing that access, it doesn't register as a boundary, it registers as a loss, and loss triggers panic. That panic doesn't always look like fear. Sometimes it looks like anger, sometimes guilt-tripping, sometimes sudden concern. But underneath all of it is the same feeling. I don't know how to interact with you anymore. This is why people push harder when they lose access. They ask more questions, demand clarity, create urgency, and frame your boundary as cruelty. Not because you harmed them, but because they don't know how to regulate themselves without your emotional availability. Psychology calls this dependency disruption. When someone unconsciously depends on your reactions to feel stable, your withdrawal destabilizes them, and destabilization feels threatening. You may have noticed something uncomfortable. The people who panic the most are often the ones who benefited the most from your access. They didn't just enjoy your presence, they depended on your patience, explanations, and emotional labor. Your silence removes their safety net. That's why they react dramatically. They're not reacting to you, they're reacting to the sudden responsibility of managing themselves. You might feel tempted to fix this, to reassure them, to soften the boundary, to explain again. But psychology is very clear here. Restoring access to calm someone else's panic trains them to panic again next time. This is where quiet people struggle most. You don't want to hurt anyone. You don't want conflict. You don't want to seem cold. So you overcompensate. You explain your withdrawal. You apologize for needing space. You justify your silence. And unintentionally, you reopen the door. Here's the truth that's hard to swallow. People who respect you will adapt. They might feel surprised. They might ask once, but they won't demand access. They'll recalibrate. People who panic reveal something important. They weren't relating to you, they were relating to what you provided. And when provision stops, the relationship collapses. Social psychology shows that entitlement often hides behind familiarity. The longer someone has access to you, the more they assume it's permanent. Not because they're malicious, but because humans normalize patterns. Boundaries interrupt that normalization. This is why losing access feels personal to them. They interpret your boundary as rejection, even when it isn't. They confuse access with closeness, availability with loyalty, explanation with respect. And when those disappear, they feel abandoned. But here's the reframe you need to hold on to. You didn't take something away. You stopped giving something that was never owed. Panic is proof that you did something wrong. It's proof that the relationship was unbalanced. Balanced relationships survive boundaries. Unbalanced ones collapse under them. You may notice another shift. Once you stop providing constant access, people begin projecting. They assume motives, they create stories, they fill silence with fear. That's not your responsibility. Social psychology is clear. You are not responsible to regulate emotions that others outsource to you. If someone cannot feel secure without access to your inner world, that insecurity belongs to them. This doesn't mean you'll lose everyone. It means you'll lose false closeness, the kind that depends on over-availability, emotional labor, and self-erasure. What remains is quieter, but it's real. You might feel lonely for a while. That's normal. You've removed a role you once played. Roles take time to dissolve, but what replaces them is alignment. Here's the most important insight. When people panic after losing access to you, they're not reacting to distance, they're reacting to autonomy. Autonomy removes leverage, and leverage is what many people unconsciously rely on. You don't need to explain this to anyone. You don't need to defend your boundary. You don't need to manage their reaction. Your responsibility ends at clarity, not comfort. The reframe you need to hold on to. If people panic when they lose access to you, it doesn't mean you became selfish. It means you stopped being a resource that others relied on without realizing it. Final thought. The people who deserve connection with you will find a way to relate without entitlement. The ones who panic, they weren't losing you, they were losing control. If this video described a reaction you've already seen, subscribe. The next video explains why some people only value you when you're always available, and what happens when that availability ends.